good day to Ms. Shafika Hanani. Today I'm going to present assignment 1 for the subject BMG 20303. Let me introduce first. My name is Nafarina binti Muhammad Ali, alias Muhammad Ali. Background of South Korea. South Korea is located in East Asia. This country has covered the southern part of the Korean peninsula. It shares a land border with North Korea, while Japan is located on the east side across the East Sea and China on the west side across the Yellow Sea. South Korea has a population of little over 51 million. It is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. The nation's terrain is mostly mountainous and less than half of it is inhabitable. The capital Seoul, located on the northern part of the country that have over 10 million inhabitants. In the city metropolitan area, there are live 25 million people, which is it was half of the whole populations. Other big cities are Busan, Daegu, and Incheon, where the country's busiest international airport. South Korea is a presidential representative democratic republic. Korean government structure is determined by the constitutions of the Republic of Korea. Like many democratic states, South Korea had a government divided into three branches, which is executive, judicial, and legislative. The executive and legislative branches operate primarily at the national level, although various ministries in the executive branch also carry out local functions. The judicial branch operate at both the national and local level. Local governments are semi-autonomous and contain executive and legislative bodies of their own. South Korea is a constitutional democracy where the constitution have been revised several times since its first promulgations in 1948 at independence. However, it has retained many broad characteristics and with the exceptions of the short-lived Second Republic of South Korea. The country has also have a presidential system with an independent chief executive. Under its current constitution, the state is sometimes referred to as the Sixth Republic of South Korea. The first direct election was also held in 1948, although South Korea experienced a series of military dictatorships from the 1960s until the 1980s. It has since developed into a successful liberal democracy. Hot state of South Korea. Power distance. These dimensions deal with the facts that all individuals in societies are not equal, which is it expresses the attitude of the culture toward these inequalities among us. Power distance can be defined as the extent to which the less powerful members of institutions and organizations within a country accept the power is distributed unequally. At an intermediate score of 60, South Korea is slightly hierarchical society. This means that people accept a hierarchical order in which everybody has a place which need to further justifications. Hierarchy in an organization is seen as reflecting inherent inequalities. Centralization is popular, subordinate expect to be told what to do, and the ideal boss is a benevolent autocrat. Individualism. In individualist societies, people are supposed to look after themselves and their direct family only. In collective societies, people belong to in-group that take care of them in exchange for loyalty. For South Korea, with a score of 18, is considered a collectivist society. It is manifest in a close long-term commitment to the member groups, be that a family, extended family, or extended relationships. Loyalty in a collectivist culture is paramount and overrides most other societal rules and regulations. The society fosters strong relationship where everyone takes responsibility for fellow members of their groups. In collectivist societies often lead to shame and loss of faith. Employer or employee relationships are perceived in more terms like a family in hiring and promotion decisions take account or the employees in group, where management is the management of groups. Masculinity. A high score masculines on these dimensions indicates that the society will be driven by competitions, achievement, and success, which is success being defined by the winner or best in field, where it is a value system that starts in school and continues throughout organizational life. South Korea scored 39 on these dimensions, and it's thus considered a feminine society. In feminine countries, that focus is on working in order to live. Managers strive for consensus, people value equality, solidarity, and quality in their working life. Conflicts are resolved by compromise and negotiations. Incentives such as free time and flexibility are favored. Focus is on well-being, status is not shown. An effective manager is a supportive one, and decision making is achieved through involvement. Uncertainty avoidance. The dimensions uncertainty avoidance has to do with the way that a society deals with the facts that the further can never be known. This ambiguity brings with it anxiety, and different cultures have learned to deal with this anxiety in different ways. The extent to which the member of a culture feel treated by ambiguous or unknown situations and have created belief in institutions that try to avoid this is reflected in the score on uncertainty avoidance. At 85, South Korea is one of the most uncertainty avoidance countries in the world. Countries exhibiting high uncertainty avoidance maintain rigid code of belief and behavior and are intolerant of unorthodox behavior and ideas. In these cultures, there is an emotional need for rule. For example, time is money. People have an inner urge to be busy and work hard. Precious and punctuality are the norm. Innovations may be risky. Security is an important element in individual motivations. Long-term orientations. These dimensions describe how every society has to maintain some links which is on past while dealing with the challenges of the present and future, and societies prioritize these two essential goals differently. At 100, South Korea scores as one of the most pragmatic, long-term oriented societies. People live their life guided by virtuous and practical good example. In corporate South Korea, we see long-term orientation which the higher on capital rate where priority to steady growth of market share rather than to a quarterly profit and so on. They all serve the durability of the companies. The idea behind it is that the companies are not here to make money every quarter for the shareholders, but to serve the stakeholders and society at large for many generations to come. Indulgence. This dimension is defined as the extent to which people try to control their desire and impulses based on the way they were raised. Relatively weak control is called indulgence, and relatively strong control is called restraints. Culture can be described as indulgence or restraints, which a low score of 29. South Korea society is shown to be one of restraints. Societies which a low score in these dimensions have a tendency to cynicism and pessimism. Also, in contrast to indulgent societies, restrained societies not put much emphasis on leisure time and control the gratifications of their desires. People with these orientations have the perceptions that their actions are restrained by social norms and feel that indulging themselves is somewhat wrong. Do and don't when conducting business in South Korea. Age and status. Respect for age and status are very important in Korean culture, with hierarchy affecting all aspects of social interactions. Everyone has a role in society as a result of hierarchy, therefore it is vital to respect it. Koreans are most comfortable interacting with someone where they consider their equal. Status is largely determined by someone's role in an organization, which is an organization they work for, such as an university they went to, and their marital status. Gift giving. In Korea, the importance of a relationship can be expressed through gift giving, which is always welcome. It is inconsiderate to give someone an expensive gift if you know that they cannot afford to reciprocate accordingly. Gifts should always be wrapped nicely in red or yellow paper, as they are royal colors. Alternatively, you can use colors that represent happiness like yellow or pink. Never sign a card in red, ink, or use green, white, or black wrapping paper. If we are invited to a Korean's home, then we should take gifts such as fruit, good quality chocolates, or flowers, and present the gift with two hands. Gifts are not opened when received. Business card. Handing out business cards take on a greater importance here. When receiving a business card, take a moment to look at it, and if in a meeting, place it neatly in front of you or put it in a place that demonstrates you value the information being given to you. Also, giving and receive business card should be done with both hands if at all possible. Bowing and handshake. Koreans bow to those senior to them both are as a greeting and a show of respect. The junior person indicates the bow, bending from the waist to an angle of between 30 and 45 degrees from vertical. A less accentuated bow is written as acknowledgement from the more senior persons. Bowing in Korea is not as pronounced as in other countries, such as Japan. Greet the higher status individual first, followed by the others. When meeting a group of Koreans, the individual with the higher status usually enters a room first. Bonding and building rapport. To show them that we are interested in long-term relationship, don't be afraid to bond through personal conversations and build rapport. However, remember not to get too personal with them. Be friendly but be professional. A big part of doing business in Korea involves eating and drinking together after business hours. Dinner invitations after work are very common. There's even a higher chance that at least one of your business meeting will take place in a restaurant or a bar. Don't be surprised by this, as eating and drinking together, especially in a professional setting, is a major part of Korean culture. That's all from me. Thank you.